In a climate-controlled vault in Oslo, Norway, there is a black stone about the size of a paperback book. Catalog number MS-2063, the Schoyen collection. Most people walk right past it. It looks like 1,000 other Mesopotamian carvings. A king, a tower, some cuneiform. But hidden inside it is something that shouldn't exist. A labeled engineering diagram of the Tower of Babel, carved around 600 BC, showing a floor plan, a side elevation, and the name of the building. Not a myth, not a metaphor, a blueprint. And in 2023, when researchers fed thousands of shattered cuneiform fragments into an AI system in Munich, the machine started reassembling the story behind that tower, and the geography inside it is not random. The stele depicts Etemenanki, the great ziggurat of Babylon, excavated by Robert Koldewey in 1913 at 32.53 north, 44.42 east. For decades, scholars dismissed the Babel account as symbolic, a moral fable about human pride. The AI reconstruction suggests they misread it. If you want to see where this investigation ends up, subscribe now, because the last clue is the strangest. The ancient text hides 3 technical details disguised as poetry. Clue 1. A tower with its head in the heavens. Sounds like arrogance, but Babylonian tablets record Etemenanki's dimensions precisely, a 91-meter square base, rising 91 meters high. A perfect cube of proportions, written down to the cubit. They weren't guessing. They were recording. Clue 2. Genesis says the builders used brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. For centuries, that read as decorative detail. But that explanation has a problem. Israelite builders used stone and lime. They had no reason to invent this. Kiln-fired brick, sealed with bitumen from the springs at Hit, on the Euphrates, is exactly how you build on a waterlogged floodplain with no quarries. Koldewey found that precise construction in the tower's core. The story preserves foreign engineering accurately from 1,000 kilometers away. Clue 3. The people scattered over the face of the earth, their language confused. Here's where it gets strange. The AI cross-matched the motif against older Sumerian literature and flagged a text called Enmerkar and the Lord of Aratta, written some 15 centuries before Genesis, describing one people, one speech, and a god who fractures the tongues of mankind. Not similar, not inspired by it. The same story. Then modern science found something that changed everything. Satellite imagery and ground surveys confirm the tower's footprint is still there. A 91-meter square depression south of Baghdad, now flooded by rising groundwater. Koldewey's deepest trench filled with water and was never reopened. Later excavation attempts stalled. For years, the site sat inside restricted zones, and key fragments remain locked in private collections. The tower was built, it was mapped, and then it was erased, dismantled brick by brick, after Alexander the Great ordered its reconstruction and died before it began. Now, does this prove the most extreme version of the story? One original language? One original tower? Probably not. The grounded explanation is that exiled scribes in Babylon watched Etemenanki with their own eyes and wrote down what they saw. But that doesn't make the discovery ordinary, because the Enmerkar text pushes the memory back before Babylon existed, pointing toward an older tower in an older city, maybe Eridu, whose massive ziggurat was abandoned suddenly and never finished. Which means the Babel story may be a record of a real event we haven't identified. A collapse? A dispersal? A fracture in early civilization that multiple cultures wrote down independently. And if that's true, it means our history is missing a chapter. The question no one has answered. What actually happened to the people who started building and stopped? Today, the tower's foundation is a silent, square lake in the Iraqi plain. The blueprint sits in a vault in Oslo. The fragments wait in Munich, still being reassembled, one shard at a time. Still there, still flooded, still waiting for someone to dig. If this gave you chills, Like this video and subscribe. Then watch the video on your screen now about the map that shouldn't exist.